Hi everybody, Todd Jason here, and welcome to my channel and this video. If you're not familiar with me, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a community leader, and I've been doing this work of personal growth both on myself and professionally for over 20 years, believe it or not, which is why I see a bunch of grays here. Each week, I take a question that I get from my community or from my clients, and I bring it here and I answer it with the hope that this can also help you out. And today's question is a doozy. It's a big one that I think will resonate with many of you. And I'll read it. The question comes from one of my members who says, Todd, I am sick and tired of feeling stuck. You talk a lot about this idea that I have more potential, but I don't feel it. How do I activate my full potential? Big question. And when it comes to potential, I have a 5-step process that I'm going to run through. And I want you to take notes because I want you to apply what I share here in your own life. You're here for a reason, but I want you to really feel the 5-step process. Things are going to pop as I say these things out loud. And the first point is that you must believe that you do have more potential in this lifetime. If we can't start with this idea that there's more for you to do here, there's more that you can experience in your work, in your money making, in your health and fitness, in your adventures, in your relationships, that there is more that you can and want to experience here, then it's going to be very hard for you to go ahead and benefit from the rest of the process. And you turn your gaze towards that brighter future and you say, yes, I am open to that. And a lot of people have that beaten out of them. Life has drowned out the dream, drowned out the hope that there's going to be more for us here. But this is where I always begin, is this idea that there is more for me to do here. And we have to practice that every day. The second piece is self-inventory, which is really a practice of looking at the various domains in your life and being honest about how well you're doing. The easiest way to do this is to look at the 3 main domains. There's our physical health, there's our career and professional and money making, and then there's our relationships. And typically people can pretty easily see that there's usually one area that's a major sticking point. There's usually one area where we tend to struggle, where we can't really get the flow and really can't see the light. It's the area that we want the success and the achievement and the joy more, but we can't seem to find it. And this is really important because when we become self-aware of the areas in our lives where there's lack, it gives us the ability to focus our attention on practices and mindset shifts that can work and solve the problems. I had a client who really struggles in relationships. Now, while she's very successful in her career and she's in great shape, the relational part for her is always a struggle. And so that awareness of just, oh, I'm doing things well in certain areas, and there's this one area where I really struggle, is enlightening because it gives us a through line into what we really want to achieve and experience in this life, because she really wants that relationship part solved. The third piece, once we do the self-inventory, is to be able to visualize what the outcome actually is. What would make us the most joyful by solving this problem? When we talk about potential, a lot of people want their potential unlocked. They want clarity in life, but they don't take the time to actually think about what that is. So the first step is to take a moment and understand what is the actual outcome of living the life of your dreams. One of the practices that I love more than anything is guiding people to write their own eulogy, which sounds morbid, but when you write your own eulogy while you're alive, thinking with the end in mind, but not just thinking with the end in mind in terms of the normal way, but I've achieved everything that I ever wanted to, and I've lived the life of my dreams, and what does that look like? And bring that into the present moment. You free yourself using your imagination to understand what you really want. What is the life that you want to achieve? It's amazing to me that when I guide people to do this practice, how many folks have no idea what they want to achieve. They're just going through life and they're upset about their potential, they're upset about their limitations, but they haven't taken the time to dive into what does it look like when this all plays out at the highest level. Now, the second piece to this point is not just thinking about the what, but also about the how. What I mean here, and this is so incredibly important, is that once you take the time to get clear about what you want to achieve, you must practice the feeling of that achievement. You must be able to feel what it is like to have that relationship or that success or that level of health. When you practice the feeling of achievement, the feeling of having that joy, we start to shift our entire present moment towards that feeling, which will then start creating the actual experiences and physical outcomes of these things happening. Again, one of the things that most people are just not doing. And I have a practice that I give where I guide people into expanding themselves into the present moment feeling of achieving the life of their dreams. And now the fifth piece for how to truly get unstuck and how to unlock your full potential. And this one is really all about trust. When I say trust, it's got to be trust in something outside of ourselves. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in science, or whether you believe in the creative impulse or light or whatever you want to call it, we are very limited in terms of our total understanding of everything that's going on here. And we have to be humble that we are just trying our best and living these short little lives that are like a blip in the matrix. And when we just can connect humility to the idea that there's a much greater design and intelligence here that we can't possibly fathom, and we trust that unfolding has something wonderful in store for us, we amplify our ability to live to our highest potential. So when you take these 5 things together, you're going to skyrocket and amplify your ability to live a life of achievement, of love, of connection, and kindness. And I'd love to hear how this all works for you. Big love, guys.